Okie doke. Let's get started. And there, I'm just checking that the gosh, my mic is really quiet. Let's see what I can do about that. Okay. Do. Let's maybe make this closer so it's like right there. Okay. Okay, so where we left off was we finished step 4, and now it wants to get started on step 5. So let's have it get started on step 5 and let it go. And let's see what step 5 is. So step 5 was okay, so we're starting on UI now. So like we finished all of the actions and the models, and we set all that up, and now we're just starting on the UI. So I think this will be interesting because like I'm using Claude, and I'm curious to see what, if any, like if it chooses to use UI.sh, or if it's just gonna just use the Laravel boost skills and see what it does. So let's wait while it's fluttering. Yeah. But yeah, I'm curious to see what this does and how it looks and stuff. I also had the thought of maybe asking it to do a command line implementation, just like to play a fake game and see how like a fake bracket would work, and maybe make some animations and stuff with that. But like I'm not a CLI guy, so like who cares? It sounds like fun. It sounds like a good like testing thing to see that everything is like working as it should. But I'm not sure if it's exactly needed in the time that we have, or the time I'm willing to spend on this today, because I do want to get to other things. Damn it, I left the guitar in the car. I brought my guitar to the office, so when it's fluttering or kneading or doing all of the things, I can do something besides sit here and talk to myself. But I forgot it in the car, which is probably not a good idea given that it's an acoustic and it's 88 degrees outside. Yeah, whoops. Okay, so it is starting to make us some components. It is doing multi-file components. It's not adding the tests there. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see where it puts the tests. That does not need to be in the model. We can just use the config. Yeah. I don't know why AI has a tendency to make these like really tiny abstractions that are like one use. And it just seems, I don't know, not ideal. I usually only tend to make abstractions when it's like 2 or 3 things using it. So yeah, RM dashboard. Sure. Let's make you smaller. And you smaller. Okay, so we're gonna revert this because I don't think that's necessary. Like if we want the image URL, we can just do the storage disk config file systems contestants disk. And even this, I think I would just use the like default and use that. What did we even? No, we didn't even make it like a separate folder or anything. It's just a env. I would just use the default. Like, I don't know why this needs to be a separate thing. This is the only thing we're using assets for. And like, if we were changing it or we needed more types of assets, like I would just put them in a folder and I'm probably going to put them in a folder anyway. Like, interesting. Okay. Are you done yet? No, you're still fluttering. Okie doke. Does it do the create page and then like not? Does the create page only do number of contestants? Okay. Interesting. I guess that's fine. But like, as I said in the last stream, I was considering like, okay, what if you add 2 and then you add 3, so then it bumps up to 4. Like you need to put 4 in, and if you do 5, it bumps up to 8, and like the next viable number, instead of like defining how many options there are from the get-go. But I decided that could be a later me problem, not a right now me problem. But yeah. Okay, I do like this, where it's like it validates the details and then uses a with or a data provider to like test each field individually. Like that's actually not, I kind of like that. It's not a bad approach. I am guessing these tests are going in the test folder rather than in line. Which is fine. But I would rather it match the like Livewire implementation. Or like the Livewire default. Okay. So this still says this. But if we do Andy Swick and Andy at technb.com and then just do a password, create an account. Okay. We've got a Laravel default starter kit, but we do have like your brackets and no brackets yet. Create a bracket and let the community pick a champion. That's kind of cute. Yep. Best soda ever. Which soda is your favorite? Vote your choice to the top. Okay, let's start with 8. Let's start with 6 hour. Let's do 24. And then create bracket. Okay. Inline contestant rename and image replacement. Didn't make V1. Delete and add. Re-add covers both. Flagged in the plan. And since this adds new Tailwind blade markup, you'll want to run compose or run dev or npm run dev running blah 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 blah. Okay. So let's do Coke 0 Pepsi 0 Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper. Okay. Launch. Cool. There's no way to view it yet. There's no way to edit it that I can tell. Okay, let's say best package ever. Let's see. Pint. Duster. Multi-tenancy and see for Laravel. Flux, filament, okay, they do reorder, which is nice. I still wish it was like more in a bracket format, but we can get to that later. I need 2 more. Let's say Passport, and what's the other one called? The other one is called Sanctum. Okay. So I don't want to launch it yet. I just want to save and go back and refresh this. Okay, and now I can edit it. I wonder if I reorder this and go back and edit it again. Did that save? Oh, it did save. Interesting. I don't know if I love that, like, it did that without telling you. Like, we have the save details button up here, but these are, the reordering doesn't have this bracket updated toast. So let's add a contestants saved toast when reordering, creating, etc. Also, we should ask, why did you put the Livewire tests in the tests features folder instead of putting them with the multi-file component as is default with Livewire 4? I'm just curious what it has to say about that. Oh, assert dispatched toast show. I didn't know you could do that. I wonder if you can do like assert dispatch modal show, because that would actually help me add tests in a lot of different places. That'd be nice. So let's see what it does. Good timing. Let me run the toast changes first, then address the test location question properly. Okay, you could have run the toast changes first. No, I didn't say change it. I asked why. You're fixing it, which I appreciate, because I was going to ask you to do that. But first I asked you why. So why aren't you answering my question, Claude? Yeah, you just moved it and did it. You didn't. But why? So you're adding a thing to a memory, which is fine. The reason I'd use test feature is that it co-located components tests. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to, let's unstage all and go through this. So first I want to add in the resources views and that. Was there anything else that we needed for the pest and then Livewire multi-file components? I don't think so. This is views dashboard blade, but what happened to the dashboard? Okay, so we have this. So then why do we still have this dashboard test? I don't think we need that, but that's besides the point right now. Okay, so let's say add MFC testing to pest. Okay, and now let's delete let's see what the feature dashboard test does. Dashboard test. Tests are, okay. That should just be in the other one. So let's go to resources, views, pages, dashboard, test. Okay, so it doesn't do any of the auth or route tests here. So let's move these over and change this to it. Redirects guests to the login page, and let's change this to my preferred style. Get acting as user, get, and assert okay. Let's check that these work. That one works. That one works. So I'm not used to the it grammar, so I usually have test, but since it started with it, I figured I'd try it. It allows authenticated users to visit the dashboard. Okay. Okay, and then, okay. Let's take a look at the dashboard.blade. We've got your brackets. We've got a button with a plus that redirects to brackets create. And then if it's empty, you can create a bracket. Otherwise, we've got a table. And then if the status is this. I would like to change this to be if it is not draft. Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah. If the bracket isn't in draft, let's still show the edit button, but make it disabled with a tool tip explaining why. Still only at 14% for the current section. So maybe it reset the session. I should have looked and see what it was doing before. Oh well. Okay, let's look at the class. Okay, so we just have a computer property with the auth users brackets with count contestants latest get. I like that. Eventually we might want to add sorting to the table so that like you can actually sort from like newest to oldest on name, etc. But that can be a later us issue. We already looked at this test, so let's wait for this to finish. Voting is underway. Brackets cannot be edited after launch. This bracket has finished and can no longer be edited. Perfect. Did you say you were done? Are you still... Okay, you're making sure all of the changes are fine. Okay. So let's stage this. And stage that. And this. Because these didn't need the image thing. We do need this. The user has brackets because we use that to show the users in the table, or the users brackets in the table. And then we need this. Stage lines. We didn't need the images disk because that has to do with editing. And we didn't need this because this is all update, delete, launch. Yeah. I don't think the dashboard page had a delete. Let's double check. Find, delete. No. Okay. You still... Okay. The dashboard now always shows the edit button for drafts. It links to the edit page. For launched, it says blah, blah, blah. Okay. So let's keep this and say add dashboard page. Okay. Now, let's take a look at the create page. So we've got brackets, create. We've got our normal heading. We've got a wire form with the 4 inputs. Number of contestants. Okay. Is unlisted. Okay. Save, validate, auth users, brackets, create. Okay. You know, this is pretty simple and it's pretty concise. If there was more in this class, I probably would extract this out to a form object, which would move all of this into one line, would remove this entirely, and if I chose to also do the saving in there, would also remove this. I do think that... I don't know. Let's see. Do you think we should add a toast after the user creates when they are redirected to the edit page so that they know that the things that they've added so far have saved properly? Or would that be confusing with the redirect? Herding. Instead of whenever I see herding, I don't think of like herding cattle or sheep. I think of just Laravel herd. So, do. Okay. Yes, add it. It won't be confusing for 2 reasons. One UX and one technical. The UX reason it helps. Your create and edit pages are nearly identical forms. Someone clicks create bracket, lands on another form with the same fields filled in. Without a signal, that moment is ambiguous. Did it save or did it just re-render with my input? A toast resolves exactly that doubt. The confusion risk you're worried about would be real if the toast said something backward looking that contradicts the new page. Yeah, okay. Yes, please. Okay. While it's doing that, let's keep looking at this. Okay, so we've got the... I do wonder at some point if I would want to move these to an enum. I haven't really come up with a good, like, when to use an enum. Like, my brain kind of does. If it's a list, it's an enum. But, you know, sometimes it's like, is this overkill? Like, this is 5 options. Maybe it's not necessary. I do think, like, in larger applications, it becomes more necessary. But since this is, you know, for a challenge, I don't know if it's actually necessary. Okay. The create test. Let's switch this to my preferred way. So let's move that to a new line. Acting as, get route assert okay. Acting as, I maybe would want to import require or import the Livewire pest plugin. We don't need this to be in a new line. This just can be like this, I believe. Yep, cool. Okay, this is what I said earlier, that I liked that it used a data provider for this. Okay. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Is there any more tests? Okay, so it's just testing. It renders, it doesn't render, it creates, it validates. Cool. So I think the create component is good. And let's add web, stage lines. And we don't need the policy or these things yet. So let's say add create bracket. I guess technically this is broken because it redirects to the edit page and it doesn't know about the edit page yet, but it's fine. Because we're going to commit that anyway. I just like small batches. I don't know why. I guess it's just the old way of doing things, and I'm older, I guess. I don't like that this is duplicated. One thing I have kind of started doing is putting partials in the folder that it's in, like modals or partials. So I might, let's do new file, partials form.blade.php, and we'll grab everything in here and go back to form. And since I'm going to since it's a Livewire component, and I'm not positive if this is, so Livewire components require one root element. I'm not sure if Blade components require the same. I feel like it makes sense for them to require the same, But if you do the at include, you don't need the one root element, as far as I know. Partials form. And we'll copy this. And we'll go here. And we'll delete the same thing. And I didn't include the buttons because they're different on each page. But yeah. Name, description, number of contestants, unlisted, hide from public gallery. Yeah, those are the same thing. Let's run the create tests again, just to triple check that like everything's good. Except the Livewire components don't usually actually test the blade view. Yeah, we're not doing any like assert C's. We're doing asserts dispatched. So we're not, we are just testing the class. We aren't actually testing the create blade. So that is something to keep in mind, that we're testing the PHP, but we're not actually testing the view. And given that it's just a create page that's pretty basic, I'm fine with that. But, more complex pages, I like to assert that I see the things in the correct view, or I'll pull in Pest's browser testing and do that. So let's commit this. Add form partial. Okay. So we've got the edit blade and we've got the name, fill out the details and the contestants, then launch to open voting. I don't know if we want a back button because like right now now that we added the toasts, maybe it's more obvious that you've got an option to like go back without launching, but maybe we want to add a back button. Oh, I want to teleport this to the body. And teleport. And sometimes for modals, I'll pull them out. Given that this is just a like confirmation modal, I'll leave it. If we had a lot of confirmation modals or a lot of modals on this page, then I would think something different. But given that this is so simple, I think we're good for now. Data loading disabled. Wire loading, wire target. New image. Add contestant, new contestant name. New contestant image, new contestant image. And this is add contestant. Okay, and this only renders if we need more. Okay, let's take a look at this. So we have the bracket that we're getting from the route. We do not use this. No. I've been bitten by this a lot. But route model binding is weird. I guess that maybe only matters when you're doing it in the route or like as a middleware instead of the in the mount method, but usually I don't I do not pass in route model bound models. That was a lot of, okay. I do not bind route model bound models to the mount method because there is an inconsistency in how permissions are applied or how the authorization gate works. So if you do this, if you use the public model property and you have arrow can on the web route, the mounting and passing in overrides that check that you already did. So that check doesn't happen, which is confusing and hard to trace. So just don't. So I use this bracket. I might actually move this because if I can help it, I really don't like having a mount method. And yeah, to me, we need a form object for this. Because I don't like doing this in the component. I really try to keep my components as lean as possible. This is redundant. In the last stream, we asked Claude why it wanted to do that, and it was like, oh, well, if it's been modified beforehand or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. I don't think that's necessary. So we're not going to do it. Okay. Save details, update this bracket, that's fine. This bracket, contestants count, that's fine. Validate rules, this bracket already has. Okay, so this is save details. So why are we checking the contestant count when we're saving the details? I thought they were separate. Add contestant, this authorize this bracket, new contestant name image. If this count is greater than the size, already has contestants. Interesting that it doesn't like reset the values. I guess if you got into that state, you might want to keep your stuff. And yeah, okay. Remove contestant, reorder, launch, resequence seeds. Okay. 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 So we're going to ask Claude. Let's extract 2 live wire form objects. One for the details of the bracket and one for adding and removing contestants. One for the contestants form. The create component can also be refactored to use the bracket form. Hullabalooing. Where do they get these? Like, how do they decide that it should be hullabalooing? It's so weird. Okay. Is it going to get mad at me that I changed that? Probably. I guess we can undo that for now, and I'll fix it later. Because yeah, I like it when the bracket, like when you've got the form, you can do like a form fill, but you can't do form fill because the fill object or the Livewire form object has a fill already. So I use load, and it's like we're loading this model into the form. And it's a really nice pattern, and I like it a lot. And I like it is kind of ironic given that I've never really liked form request objects. And I always thought it was like a lot of like overhead, especially for really small forms. But for Livewire and these components, I'm really I have a lot more tendency towards as small as possible. And more offloading than I do in a typical controller. I haven't really figured out why that is, but it is just my preference. Or maybe if I was working on more APIs and more controller-based things, I would like those form objects better now. But I don't know. It's interesting to see how we kind of like change and our preferences change over time, and how like I like one thing but I don't like another thing, but other people swear by these things, and it's kind of cool just to see how many different ways there's to do the same thing and different preferences. And I love that there isn't just like one size eats all way to do things. And I like will do my best to always say this is my preference, or this is how I do it, not this is the one and only way to do it, and you're wrong if you don't do it this way. Because that's just engagement baiting. But yeah, okay, cool. It did move that into the store. The Livewire docs have it two ways, where like you just move the form, like the properties and the validation into the form object, but you can also move the storing and updating into that form object. And I like that a lot too. It's just like one place that handles a bracket or handles a contestant for the bracket. Okay. While it's running, let's take a look at Twitter. Okay. Sure. That's cool. This is really cool, Roxy. Okay, let's take a look at what it did. It still did this. I don't like that. Maybe I undid it, but see, the save details is now like really tight. So we're just authorizing, we're updating, we're telling the user that it updated. We're authorizing, we're double checking, and storing unset, because this is going to clear out the computed property, and then telling the user we're authorizing abort unless, storing or removing that disk, deleting it, resequencing. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, we have now have the bracket, we have the bracket form and the contestant form. And set bracket isn't the language that I would use. Yeah, let's just use load. I like that better. So let's go to the bracket form and change set bracket to load. And then let's update this again. So we're using this bracket, and we don't need this line, and using this bracket again. Is redirect if? Nope, okay. Nope, not doing it. Okay, save details is fine. I probably would rather call it save. Yeah, I'm being too nitpicky. Probably. Toast, this bracket already has. We're storing, we're unsetting, we're toasting. Cool. Authorizing. Checking. Removing. Resequencing. Again, why are we... If we unset that first and just use this, I wonder if that'll work. Let's go to edit test and run this. Okay, it still works. I'm not requerying the database when we're about to unset it and requery it again. So like the way that Fable had it was querying the database for this line and then querying the database again for this line. I believe, as far as I know. I could be wrong. Okay, and we're querying it again for this reorder. What the hell? Let's just use this contestants. We already queried it. It's already there. Like, let's just let it be. Reordered. Where ID does not equal this. Values. This. And there's that resequence again. Okay. All these changes I've done haven't changed the tests at all. Launch bracket if we're authorized to launch the bracket. If we're double checking the size, we can't launch until we have the correct size. Okay, we're handling it. I can't decide if I prefer the dependency injected way and then doing arrow handle or doing like app launch bracket handle. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Action pattern is still something I'm getting used to. I haven't used all that much, so I'm still trying to figure out my preferences for it. Okay. Contestants' values each update. Didn't we already do values? Okay, we have splice. Okay. I mean, we can double check in the browser and make sure. Okay, that didn't values. Whoops. Okay, so maybe that was necessary. Okay. Okay. So that is what was. Where's that other if? Okay. Yeah. This contestants count. If anybody watching this back is like, Andy, you dumb. You're so dumb. Let me know. Tweet me, email me, send me a post on Blue Sky. Like, let me know if I'm being dumb. But yeah, I am, especially with like Livewire components, it's really easy to like accidentally really bloat your query count. And I'm trying to not let Fable do that. So yeah. But I do want to add a test that when you reorder, we see that like Pint is before Duster, and we see that these numbers have changed. Because I haven't looked at the tests yet. Let's go take a look at those. So we have a draft bracket, bracket factory create the size, if contestants, add contestants in sequence. It renders the bracket, renders for the bracket owner. Let's change this to just acting as. Get, okay, let's double check. Okay. Acting as, okay. Acting as, cool. So it's redirects to a dashboard when no longer in draft, forbids users who do not own, renders, cool. Updates the bracket details. We're acting as, brackets edit, we can change the name, size, duration, save, assert that it has no errors, and we can refresh it and double check that the things have changed. Cool. Redirects shrinking size below the current context count. That's actually smart. Cool. It adds contestants with sequential seeds. Okay. With seed to be 3. I don't know how we're testing sequential. I guess since we already had 2, it should be 3. Okay. It stores uploaded contestant image or storage faking public, not the dискit made, which is interesting. Okay, we have a fake image, topo, brackets, contestants, sole, image path not to be null. And then we're asserting that that image exists in the image path, which is interesting because I feel like if the default disk for... Oh, I see what it's doing. So by default in contestant, it's contestant's disk, and then this is defaulting to public. So us doing this. Okay. I still feel like it should just be the default, but I guess maybe it shouldn't because we want to use public. Public path storage at private at public. Interesting. I don't know. Files are always weird, and I don't always know what to do with them. But at a minimum, I don't want that. And we'll just use this. And then add URL to the end. Okay. Test, contestant form, image, and no errors. Okay. Does not add contestants beyond the bracket size. One too many. To be 4. Okay. Removes the contestants, deletes the image, and resequences seeds. Oh, so are we using seeds as order? Oh. Okay. I am okay with that, but also it's slightly confusing. Okay, remove contestant. Second, we showed a toast. Accept them to be 1 and 2, and we deleted this. Okay. Which makes sense because we deleted number 2. So it would have been 1 and 3 if we didn't reseed. Okay, that makes sense. Reorders contestants and resequences seeds. So reorder last ID 0. So we're moving it from top or bottom to top. Expect last refresh seed to be 1 and bracket contestant seed all to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, fine. Launches full bracket and redirects the dashboard called launch. Okay, refuses to launch bracket before the bracket is full. Okay, so on this reorder test, I want to add, let's see. Instead of using this helper function, I want to copy it and where's the reorder? There we go. So we're going to take this and we're going to say do. So we did 4 and contestants 4. So we want to do 4 and 4. And for sequence, we'll do name, Coke, seed 1, name, Diet Coke seed 2 Pepsi Diet Pepsi seed 3, and this will be 4, and we'll do and do 2, 3, nope, 3, 4, and then we'll do Coke, Mountain Dew, Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke. And so instead of last, we'll say DC, and we'll say assert C in order. 1, Diet Coke, 2, Coke, 3. Numbers are always hard with assert C because it's like maybe there's a number somewhere else. So it's always a little awkward, but I think this should assert C in order. 1, Coke, 2, Mountain Dew, 3, Diet Pepsi, 4, Diet Coke, 1, 2, 3, and then Diet Pepsi is 4. 4, Diet Pepsi. So let's do this, okay? And then let's remove that thing that I had done earlier that made that fail, which I think was here. I just did this bracket contestants. And let's see if that fails. Haha, it did. Sweet. Cool. So that's like, earlier I was saying, you know, it doesn't, a lot of those tests that it writes, it wasn't actually testing the view. And this was an indication that, like, before we added our very specific, like, hey, we want to assert that we see these things in the view, especially in this order, and these have updated accordingly. Until we added that or told an AI to do that, like, it's not actually testing everything. And you can easily miss things like that. And it's kind of one of those things where you need to just remind yourself, hey, I need to double check that. And like actually look at it in the browser and like instruct the agent, or when you're checking, like check that it actually is testing view specific things that matter. 'Cause like I also want to assert that we see those, or assert that they're set. Did we do that when we're saying it updates? No. Okay. For the update ones, I like to, let's copy this and paste it. And let's say, form name is bracket, form size. I usually like to like actually name these and, you know, make them fun or cutesy. But we can also just pull from the helper function. Bracket duration. Is that what it's called? Round duration hours. And then is unlisted. And then instead of these being set, not that one, we just do these two. We'll do assert set. And so that is testing. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Let's double check this. Okay. So form. Okay. Let's comment these out. Not that one. Assert set bracket name. Okay, that worked. Assert set bracket size. That passed? Okay. Oh, I copied that. It should be this. Doi. W. How did we get so many stinking files open? In the right side. Edit. Test. There we go. Bracket. Round duration hours. And then assert set. Form unlisted. Bracket is unlisted. Okay, this should pass now. Cool. So again, this is testing that, like, it's not, this isn't actually testing the view itself, but it is testing that things are showing up in the view. Kind of. No, not really. No. What we added was testing this line. And testing that we are loading the form properly. So if we comment that out, we don't see it. If we comment it back in, the test passes. We aren't asserting that we see this text anywhere in the form. So yeah. It's whatever. Okay. Adds contestants with sequential seeds. Test. Yeah, I looked at all this already, didn't I? Okay. So let's do PA test. Just double check that I didn't totally screw something up. Oh, look what I did. Okay. It removes the contestants, deletes its image, and resequences seeds. So how did I make that fail? Call to undefined image disk. Okay. So in edit, we have contestant image disk. Okay. Let's just do that. Okay. Called to again? 3 is usually my limit, where I don't really want to do it like that. But I also really don't like that being in the model. But if we were doing Spacio Media Library config, it would be in the model. I'm going to leave it like this and see if it fails again, but let's... Okay, cool. So we moved the form to a form. We cleared that out, so the create is nice and clean now. We updated the tests so now that it's form.name instead of just name, and they're not like public properties on the components anymore. We added image URL to the contestant. We haven't tested file uploads yet, so we should do that. Stage. We've got a bracket form with the rules and the message and the load and the store. Do we use this user anywhere else? Like bracket form. Why does AI love temporary variables? Okay, we use it here and here. Here. But we've already we've already said that they have to be authenticated by like being at this route. But I'm guessing this is a stand thing. No? Okay. Regardless, I don't think the temporary variable was necessary. Okay, how many times are we using this? Once? Twice? Okay, fine. Okay, that's fine. Name, temporary file uploaded, image, max of 2 meg. Contestants, create, image path seed, reset, contestant. Okay. Oh, wait, are we resetting here? Nope. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. We don't want to reset for the store because we're going to redirect. And the update, we don't want to reset because it's still showing. We only want to reset for the contestants because that form is going to be used again. Yeah, okay. Do we use this delete anywhere? Bracket policy. Let's delete this and run the tests. Let's just add a command here. Add command test PHP artisan test. Sure. So let's run this, see what happens. Okay, so we didn't need delete? Or we're just not testing it? Edit. Find. Delete. Okay. I mean, we're deleting the contestant. But I don't, are we, edit, contestant delete, authorize the update this bracket. We're not editing, we're not deleting anywhere. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Okay, we'll keep this. And we'll stage all of these. Okay. Add, edit, form. Okay. Add tests, command. Okay. So let's go here and let's do step 6. Oh, the thing I wanted to test was that we have file uploads. Okay, so let's do let's save that. Let's create a new folder. Bracket box. Diet Coke. Okay, let's go to bracket. Let's delete that. Say Diet Coke. I know this doesn't fit into this, but downloads, bracket box, Diet Coke, open, add. Okay. Cool. I did need to reload, and that's probably not for the best. I probably messed that up too. With my querying, or not wanting queries to run. Damn it. Okay. But the upload did work, so cool. Absorbing your refactors. Load instead of set bracket. Config inline, trimmed policy. I'll follow those patterns in step 6. First, checking what the public pages have to work with layouts, the welcome route, whether the pest browser plugin is installed. We can install the pest browser plugin since I think it will be helpful for testing. Okay. We don't need brackets :slug if it's defined in the model, right? We didn't do that here. Speaking of Diet Coke, you've 93% of your session limit. Upgrade. No. I refuse. Well, obviously this is broken. Oh, okay. Resets in 10 minutes. Cool. Let's see. Okay, so it did notice. I think I would like it to have like a counter down of like how long do you have. I think I want lines attaching these, kind of like the way Apple did for the sports app for the World Cup. I really like Flux's UI for like applications, but it is definitely not inspired in terms of like landing pages. So I think it would also be kind of nice to have like a match heading. Like A, B, C, D. Yeah. Am I just using extra usage? Probably. Which is fine. I've got enough. I don't know why it's creating a Python script to put this stuff in. But okay. Okay. Now, can I... Well, I can view it. So what is this URL? Oh, what is this? I thought that was just for testing. I didn't think that was for... So if we go to create.blade, no, just create, nope. Create.php, save form store, okay. And then in the form store, we say slug. Oh, no, I don't want this. That's silly. It isn't double checking for uniqueness. Unique. I know I have a thing somewhere. Okay. Okay, so let's switch to Codex and say, let's see, let's go here. Let's go to Atom. Design. Ideas. Okay, so let's do ideas. Let's see. Can we make the public gallery page and show page more zhuzh? I would love some ideas for, let's see. UI. Can you give me some ideas to improve the gallery page and make it more attention grabbing? I probably should have told it that it's basically an existent. Yeah, every bracket has equal weight. Intro lacks a focal point. The cards don't preview competition. Yeah. Okay, cool. I was going to say, I think I probably should have said, hey, like, this is just a default Laravel starter kit. Like, you probably want to make some pretty drastic changes, and we can change colors or fonts or whatever. I don't know why the in-app browser runtime. And also, like, why can't you just open Herd? Oh, well. I'm guessing the in-app browser is because it's thinking it's in Codex, because we're on Codex now, because I'm waiting. Never mind. I can go back to Fable now. But we'll finish this and... Because if I refresh this... Ah, look at that. I don't know how people like max out. I mean, I'm sure like I am not doing all that much. I am not. But like I've been, working on one thing fairly consistently today, and I barely hit the limit. And this is the $20 plan. So what am I doing wrong? I don't know if it needed to add tests for the UI.sh, but okay. Like, that seems redundant, but okie doke. Okay, this is minimal current. Ooh. Bracket box. Every matchup needs a deciding vote. Join the crowd, back your favorites, and help crown the next champion. One vote at a time. Live arena. Bold editorial. Pick a side, crown a champion. One public bracket to explore. I like two better, or the bold editorial. Okay. I wonder if it's behind. Or in front of. Let's see. I like the tournament board better, but I don't know if it matches the editorial style of the intro. I also wonder if I should tell it to kind of like match my personal website style, which is a little bit more pixelated, more retro in feel. Um, Maybe. Okay. So are you working or like what are you doing? Okay. Do that. I am wondering if we could potentially also make it match my visual identity for Tech NB, which is more pixelated, retro in vibe. Let's see, what did it say? I'll finalize the tournament board and then try it is with Tech MB Inspire Retro Editorial Index. I am using the UI design workflow and will first inspect technbs.com actual colors, typography, borders, and pixel motifs so the result feels related rather than merely generic retro. Well, the design skills linked guideline resource isn't resolving from its picker, so I'm continuing with the project's local Tailwind Flux convention and the live TechNB site as the visual source of truth. That won't block the redesign. The identity is clear. Press start to P labels, instrument serif display type, Geist, mono, metadata, orange, yellow accent, scan lines, hard 2 pixels. Borders and offset shadows. I'll carry those ingredients into bracket box while keeping its own name and bracket focused content. Cool. Oh, we should also use... Oh, shoot. What is it called? app.css. Tweak Flux. This is a little preset theme that Josh Siri made. Which is cool. So we can make it brutalist which is a little more retro-y in feel. But let's see what UI.sh comes up with first. Nice. Pick a side, crown a champion. Community brackets decided one matchup at a time. Choose your favorites and help send them to the top. Public brackets. Tournament board. Best soda ever. Voting open. 8 contestants. Quarterfinals. Updated live. Nice. I kind of think it would be cool if it like had like current standings. Like, okay, maybe not if it's like huge, but like, okay, quarterfinals, there's only 4. So we could say like Coke Zero 2-1, you know, like something like that. Interesting. The reopen. It's interesting that the bar changes. Let's go back. Do. I want to say, like, let's add a footer with, like, made by me, hosted on Laravel Cloud, etc. But we'll see. Okay. Let's see. Can we add a footer that says made by TechNB with a link to my site on Laravel with a link to Laravel and hosted on Laravel Cloud with a link to cloud? What is this page? Brackets show. Okay. Now let's update the brackets.show page to match this visual style. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Can you use the Tinker and the bracket factories to seed 10 brackets with Laravel coded competitions? Maybe something like best component library, best educator, best Laracast course, best Spassy package, best Laracon, etc. Something like that. Do. Yeah, I like hash 4 better. I didn't. That was a good ad. Yeah, I don't want that. This should be a round of. Like round of 32, round of 48. Let's see. Bracket. Of. Except champion needs to go above. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Okay, what's going on? Okay, so I want to tweet. Mine. For my weekend project. Still streaming on YouTube if you would like to join. Okay. Let's work on step 7. Stage. Let's just stage all. I love how, as this goes on, I'm getting less and less concerned with the code, but also, like, it's a show page. It's not doing all that much. Add UI, front end UI. Okay. Do. Nope. Okay. Before we work on polish, do you think it would be good to add tweak flux, maybe with the brutalist design? I'm not going to guess at what tweak flux does. Do. Okay, yes, I want to proceed. Come on. Wait, where's my mouse? There it is. Yes, allow reading from tweak flux. Do do do. This looks terrifying. I do not want to see that, but it sounds terrifying. This is fun. Like this, like weekend challenge type thing is kind of fun. Like it's just really fun to everybody see what everybody's working on. Think of like the cool things that folks are playing with. Yeah. Do do do. Do do do. Do do do. Checking the dark mode, black concern. App CSS has its own dark. Must not win over theme. Okay. Do do do. Okay. Let's start polish. I've looked at all of the pages. Do you have any questions before we start? Okie doke. Let's see what Claude does here. So Claude asked, how should the polish pass extended beyond the bracket experience? And I said, let's just only play with the bracket pages, only the public ones, since TweakFlux kind of did a good amount of work for the back end pages. How should round closes in countdown behave? And I wanted it to be a live ticking clock. What should launch brackets get on the dashboard? And I said view link, and everybody should be able to see a copy share link button. One thing to check in docs first, how to set a dynamic page title, the bracket's name from a view-based component in Livewire 4. That's easy, just throw in a public function. I don't love that these are full width. And how do I change my vote? Because you can. Okay, so we should mark that down. Okay, let's add this. Let's see. Add TweakFlux. Okay, let's do github.com repo.new. Yeah. TechNB bracket box. Yeah, that's fine. Create repository. Copy that. Let's take this over here. Remote. Origin. And now let's push this up and refresh this. Cool. We're getting close to being done. Okay, let's refresh this. Still not working. What are you saying about it? Okay. Ooh, I like this. Don't love this double line, but I think I already want to remove this and keep these in here and keep the voting in here. Because I think that would be fun. Okay. Zesting. Still think it should be an animation of zesting a lemon or something. Okay. I like that comment. That is actually really helpful. Locally put this to storage link. Yeah, this is good. Okay, that makes sense. Yes. Mm. Um, um, no. Okay. 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 Let's see. Okay, let's say on the gallery page, I would like to add a n hours slash days remaining next to voting open. Brewing should have an animation of a beer, like either in a keg bubbling. Yeah, a beer or something in a keg bubbling. That would be nice animation for brewing. Okay, thinking more. And more. Do. Updated live. It has this little box, and there's these boxes, and okay. I don't know if I love that either. What if we do... Let's see. What if we do voting open as an eyebrow treatment above the name and have the time remaining in the bracket to the right of the name? Let's see. Let's see. We already have Git set up with a clean working tree. So go ahead and add the cloud CLI so we can deploy. Let's see. Show hours remaining. Okay. Okay. Let's hurry up and ship this. And then I can make more tweaks as I want after, but I gotta wrap up. Because it is getting late. It's 6:15 p.m. my time, and I'm getting hungry again. I already did this. Installing just the Cloud CLI. Cool. Okay, so let's do cloud authorize. Okay. Cloud ship. Okay, that didn't work. Which a cloud? Sure. Okay, so cloud ship again. Multiple API tokens cloud. Yes. Yes. Okay. Cloud ship. Shipping. Cloud. Sign in. Bracket box just deployed. We've got bracket box database. Yes, we want scale to 0. I'll do that later. What happened? Sure. Yes. I want to create a bucket. Bucket create. Sure. Let's create a new folder for BracketBox. eBox. Okay. This is production main. And then let's duplicate this and rename it, or edit the pin page. Change this to BracketBox.test and change it to HTTP because I didn't turn on. Edit pin page, yep, and then save. No. This. Edit pin page. Edit. Save. Local. Okay. Now what do you want? I thought we already created a database. Okay, sure. Let's see what you do. Because if you blow it up, I can just change it. Or redo it. No, that's not what I wanted. Let's database create. Sure. I don't know what you're doing. Rename. No, come on. Let me rename you. I kind of like the glove, but ooh, how about a tree? Or branches? Yep, that'll work. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we have it shipped. We have it able to, I was able to log in. Don't know what it's doing. Environment update, attach bracket box database schema to production environment. You already have this. Okay, I'm clearing out of you because you, let's do Control E. There's already a database attached. Let's say 24 hours. Let's say one. Edit pin paged. Edit. HTTP bracket box. New. Dot. Test. Best kit. So we've got which starter kit, old and new, is your favorite? Create. Okay, so let's do Breeze. Laravel Breeze. GitHub.com/Laravel/Breeze. Art. Logo. It is an image. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's restart this and let's do Laravel Breeze. Add. It's not showing. I must have fucked that up, but oh well. I can fix it. What does he want now? Bucket create. Did you not create a bucket? Okay. Sure. Okay. Let's see. So let's see. We have Laravel Breeze. We have Laravel Auth. Or let's see. Jetstream. We have Laravel. Da, 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 da. Okay, so it created a thing, but it's not. Okay, so let's delete these. Because I've decided I want to go a different way. So we'll do layer. Let's see. Okay, blank Livewire starter kit. Laravel. Add. Blank React starter kit. Laravel. Blank React starter kit. Blank Svelte. Do, do, do. Mm. Hmm. Okay, let's launch this. Okay, we can view it. Nice. Cool. Well, it is up there. It is working. I want to vote for Breeze over Jetstream, Vue over React, Livewire over everything, and say Spark. Cool. Kadoke. So that's it. I'm gonna sign off. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.